Welcome to Bs311. This is Organizational Behavior, Week 3, Spring 2014. And I'm your online instructor, Diana Block. And for Week 3, your reading assignment is Chapters 5 and 6. Chapter 5 talks about motivation in the workplace. And so that's a great chapter. No matter what industry you're in, there's issues with motivation because there's people working in the organization. And then in chapter 6, we're going to read about health and stress issues at work, another really important topic. So once you've done your reading and reviewed the PowerPoints that I have attached here, you want to go ahead and start as soon as possible on the Week 3 discussion. In the discussion, it asks you to take a look at an article in your textbook. I'll find that for you. It is on page 143, I believe. And the article talks about some things that managers do that actually demotivate people, mistakes that managers make. This article here, Advice from the Pros. 10 dumb things managers do to people in their jobs. So once you read that, the discussion question is asking you to reflect back on some places that you have worked where you have been demotivated, and just think about what was done that made you demotivated in the job and how things could have been done differently or should have been done differently. So that's what the discussion is about this week. Should be an interesting conversation. Then for the assignment, you're going to read this article called World Class Company at Volvo, and that also happens to be on page 143. So you're going to read this article. This follows immediately at the end of chapter 5. And so you're going to read through this and learn how they do things at this Uddevalla manufacturing plant for Volvo. And you're going to answer this discussion question right here. So don't miss this first question that's in the middle of the article where it says discuss, using Hackman's model of job design. And Hackman's model of job design is outlined in the chapter on pages 131 and 132. So using Hackman's model, you're going to discuss this plant and how it relates and how it compares to a traditional assembly line. So then you read the rest of the article, and then you're also going to answer these last two questions as far as the Uddevalla plant and how it relates to motivation. So again, we're wanting you to use information from the chapter, concepts and theories related to the chapter to explain your answers to the questions. So on page 145, here's where you see the chapter summary and key terms. So some of these terms is what I want to see used to answer the assignment questions. So make sure you're including actual concepts, terms, and theories from the chapter to explain your answers. And the second part of the assignment is part B here in the content. You've been appointed a regional manager for McDonald's. You're responsible for 6 locations. So you can read that. Basically, it's asking what would you do to increase motivation if you were this person in charge of these 6 different restaurants, and you felt the people were not motivated. How would you go about motivating them? Now, I will tell you, in the past, some students have said, oh, I would greet each person with a smile in the morning, and I would have meetings where everyone can express themselves. And I'm not saying those aren't good ideas, but the class is wanting you to use concepts and theory and terminology that we're learning to explain what you would do to solve this problem. So I'm looking for you to use the concepts from chapter 5 where it discusses motivation. You need to give specific concepts, theories that you would apply to this situation, whether that be job rotation, job enlargement, organizational commitment, any of these things you see here on page 145 in the key terms and chapter summary. We want you to use specific concepts to explain your responses. So what you will find is if you are not using concepts, terms, theories from the chapters that we've read, you're not going to receive a very high score on the assignment. So make sure you're not just giving general information that anyone would think of, that even if people who aren't in this class, I want you to demonstrate that you're in this class and you've read the materials and you're going to apply concepts and theories from the material to the problems that are being presented. So even though this example doesn't come out of the textbook, I want you to use the textbook concepts to explain it. Okay, so then keep in mind that in week 4, next week, we will have a quiz in the class. So as you have time, you may want to use your iPad to do some of the practice quizzes that are listed here in the additional learning resources. That'll help you to prepare for our actual class quiz that you're going to have in week 4. Also, keep in mind in week 8 we're going to do that movie analysis paper. So I explained in week 1, and there's a document in week 1 that explains the expectations for all of the papers. So make sure you're going about securing a movie that's from that list so that you'll be prepared. You might even start jotting some notes down, some of the concepts and theories that you want to address that apply to your movie. So just don't let that get away from you. And if you have any additional questions, my phone number and email, all my contact information and office hours is listed in the instructor area. So if you have any questions, I always respond to your emails and calls within 24 hours, usually within much less than that. If it's during the day, within an hour or two, I'll normally be able to email you right back. And so I look forward to hearing from you if you have any questions. Otherwise, have a great day. Thank you.